This is a carbon fiber global venture that's already been sanded, shaped, primered, painted silver, and then painted candy gold. Now the customer wants some black flames with red ends on it, so now what I have to do is lay out the flames. I do each one of these by hand so that each bike is different. To me, if you're going to have a custom paint job, it should look custom. You don't want to roll up to your ride and have the same paint job that somebody else has. So each one is done by hand, and so I lay out the tape and I try to just find a shape that looks good to me. I mean, I do each one differently. Definitely have a style, but they all turn out a little bit different. You can see I just kind of manipulate the tape here to get sort of that hot rod flame shape, and just kind of let it go where it's going to go, so that again, no two paint jobs look exactly alike. And what I got to do here is go all the way around the tube. I'm going to put these flames on the head tube, or the top tube, the down tube in the head tube area, also on the top tube behind the first coupler, and on the keel tube behind the first coupler, and then the back of the bike is also going to get some flames put on it. So I have to do this process for all of the tubes that are going to have the flames on it. So I'll go all the way around the tube so that the flames are on the top, the bottom, and both sides, and you can see them kind of finishing up the bottom section here, and this will work its way around the other side and connect to the first flame that I put on the top. Now after I get all of the flames laid out and everything looks exactly how I want it, what I'm going to wind up doing at the next step is covering the blue flame tape with masking tape. You can see the masking tape that I've started here, and what I do is I cut away the masking tape so that the only part that's uncovered is the part that's going to be painted black. Now this part's a little bit tricky. I spend most of my day doing this with a razor blade in my mouth and trying not to cut through the blue fine line tape. You have to push hard enough on the razor blade to cut through the masking tape, but you don't want to cut through the blue tape. And it takes a bit of a touch and a bit of practice, and I've ruined many paint jobs and had to strip and do over from making mistakes with my razor blade. But after I get everything all taped off and masked, I'll take it into the paint booth. You can see I've got everything masked off here. The back of the bike isn't masked off because it's going a whole different direction, and you'll see it at the end of the video with the finished bike, but that's a whole nother movie that I'll show you another time. So after I get everything set up here, I'm going to paint the black onto the flame area. I'll cover all of this gold with the black to lay down a nice base color. After the black is completed, I'll get my airbrush and I'll fill it with some silver. Now on the silver, I'm just going to kind of go around the tips of the flames and around the edges to give it kind of a highlight, because what I'm going to do next is take my airbrush and fill it with red paint, and then I go over the silver with the red, and it gives it a really nice highlight on the flames that the customer wants. And after this, everything is unmasked and put together, and this is what it looks like when it's finished. So this is a Global Venture carbon fiber with a carbon fiber custom painted fork. This one is headed off to New Jersey, if I'm right, so you can find this one out on the road somewhere. I hope the customer likes it. I think it turned out great, so if you're interested in having fancy custom paint jobs, no problem. 10 or 20 hours of me and Will and Todd all working together to get it to this state. They're expensive, but we think they're worth it. So, like I always say, whenever you're ready, so are we.